Let's start by adding a couple of files to our project. To do that, we're going to use the echo command. This is not a git command. It's just a standard Unix or Linux command for writing content to a file. So here we're going to write hello to file1.txt. So here I'm working with a text file because I don't want this course to be specific to people who know a particular programming language like Python or JavaScript. What I'm going to show you in terms of the workflow applies to any programming languages, okay? So we write hello to file1.txt. Good. Now let's execute this command one more time and change file1 to file2. So now we have two files in our project. Now look at this question mark here. That means we have new files here that are not tracked by Git. Because the first time you initialize a Git repository in a directory, Git is not going to automatically track your files. So if you have 1,000 files in your project, you have to instruct Git to track them, okay? So here we're going to run git status to see the status of the working directory and the staging area. Take a look. So we don't have any commits yet. We have untracked files, which are file1 and file2. They're indicated by red because they're not in the staging area yet. To add these files to the staging area, we use the git add command. Here we can list a single file, like file1.txt, or multiple files separated by a space. We can also use patterns. So star.txt, that means all the files with the txt extension. We also have period, which adds the entire directory recursively. Now you have to be a little bit careful with this because sometimes there are files you don't want to add to your repository, perhaps large files like large binary files or log files. You don't want to add these files to your repository because they increase the size of your repository. I will show you how to ignore these files later in this section. So just remember, add period adds the entire directory recursively. In this demo, I'm going to go with this command because we only have two files in this directory, okay? Now our green indicator changed to yellow, which means we have stuff in the staging area that are ready to be committed. So if we run git status again, look, we have two new files and they're indicated by green, which means they're in the staging area. Now let me show you something interesting. I'm going to modify file1. So once again, we're going to use the echo command to echo world. But here, instead of one greater than sign, I'm going to use two greater than signs, which means append. So we're going to append world to file1.txt. Now let's run git status again. Look what happened. We have two files in the staging area because they're indicated by green, but we also have one modified file in our working directory. So you might be asking, but hey Mosh, didn't we already add file1 to staging area? Yes, we did, but when we ran the add command, Git took a snapshot of file1 and added that snapshot to the staging area. So here's the current situation. In the staging area, we have the first version of file1. We changed this file after we added it to the staging area. So what we currently have in our working directory is the second version of this file. It has some changes that are not staged yet. So back to the terminal, we run git add period or git add file1.txt one more time. Now look at the status of our working directory. Both these files are in the staging area and we don't have any unstaged changes. So next I'm going to show you how to commit this snapshot to permanently store it in our Git repository.